Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Factional Fight Plays Wurm Online. My name is Brian, this is my brother Adam. And it's nighttime in Wurm, but that doesn't stop us from recording our next episode. But before that, let's talk a little bit about what happened last week with the Hillside Horde Corp. Basically, to recap, we left some like vegetables and miscellaneous items out in a food storage bin on a perimeter. They were supposed to come by, pick it up, and do like a transfer of I don't know. They're supposed to give us money at some other time, but when we came online, the stuff was gone. They said they weren't the ones that picked it up. We don't know if that's true or not. It's just gone. So we gave them the benefit of the doubt. I know that they seem like nice guys, but you just never know because we don't know who exactly. We don't know them very well yet, though we'd like to.
Yeah, we wanted to sort of keep a relationship because they're relatively close by. They seem like a good group of people, and also they, I mean, it seems like they're willing to do some business. We could benefit from their stuff that they build, and they can benefit from what we build, and I don't know, it would be a good mutual alliance to have as long as everything is.
Yeah, and we just like to thank everyone for all of your comments and all your suggestions and all that stuff. We'd like to especially thank what's his name, Garrett, and possibly somebody else that came with him. Sorry if we forgot the name. Unfortunately, we were not around when he came by, but he came by, dropped off a bunch of stuff. I don't know if you remember the type of stuff that he dropped by. But
it was just like a ton of random stuff. Like there was meat, and there was vegetables, and there was some cotton, and just a whole bunch of random. It was great. I mean, we heard afterwards that he came from Indy, sailed all the way from Indy for.
That's right.
I think it was like a 5-hour trip, and so. Yeah, thanks a lot. That was amazing.
Yeah, I wish next time, come by, stick around. Hopefully we'll be around and we can show you the place. Maybe it'll be actually built up by then.
Yeah.
It's not really built up that much. But since then, over the last week or so, with Hillside Horde Corp, they gave us basically another order that we'd want to fulfill. And they gave us a bunch of blacksmithing tools, which is your domain. So Adam got like a pickaxe and like a shovel and like a couple other things. They were like around 50 quality or something like that, and Adam agreed to imp them up to, what was it again?
80. Okay,
so Adam agreed to imp them up to 80 for them, and they each have like small enchants or something, like nothing too major, something in the 50s, like a 50 WOA or something on these, on like the pickaxe. I know I saw that. And so I thought,
crap.
What's wrong? What is it?
I made the pickaxe rare.
You made it rare? So, you just made one of their pickaxes rare. I'm trying to think, what does that mean for us? Turning a pickaxe rare, like, I don't know the prices here, but I'm pretty sure a rare pickaxe is worth a lot of money.
I mean, usually turning something rare is an awesome thing.
Why does it always have to be on items that are not for you? How great would it be to have a rare pickaxe to chip down this giant mountain?
Yeah.
Anyway, before we get into that debate, which I do want to get into, I do want to get the village update out of the way. So,
right.
let's do this quickly because it's not that much. Now, we got a whole lot of help on the mountain this week, and I don't know if you guys can see it. It's really dark, so I'm sorry that it's nighttime, but you know, it doesn't really stop us from recording this video. I don't know if you guys can see it. Maybe turn up the gamma a bit, but it's actually quite lower, I must say.
Yeah, there's a nice groove out of it on the south side that makes it really feel like we're getting to the bottom of it.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for helping out this week on bringing down this mountain. I can finally look at it and say, wow, we're getting there. We're definitely more than halfway.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I'm thinking like a couple more weeks.
Yeah, that should be really fun. The next difference would be these planned walls, these planned houses here. They kind of look like a mess right now, but it's the start of our castle walls. The walls that are going to be surrounding the castle. So yeah.
Like I'm feeling like we're because the mountain's coming so close to being done, we want to just be prepared for when that happens so that we have some buildings down that we can start working on and just planning the area.
That's right. So other than that, the village area seems to be growing, you know, very nicely, especially on this side. And if we go down to the port area, not much has changed. We know that you guys can see this Corbita here that Chunklord has decided he's going to make a Corbita, and you know what? He can do it. I know you can do it, Chunk.
Yep.
I know you can do it. Anyway, other than that, not much has changed. We had to change our plans for the port area a little bit due to unforeseen circumstances. We did not realize that the length of a house can't be more than 20.
Yeah, it turns out that
tiles.
while video recording that last episode,
I planned a 29 long house. Apparently that was a bug.
Apparently you can't do that.
Yeah,
It's
so
odd.
I didn't know that. But now we know. So now we had to change the plans. So
There is one other major change in the port area, I think, that you've been working on. Just share that with everybody.
Okay. If you see over here, our change basically means, how would you describe it? It's going to be a big change to what we were planning. Like, we were pretty much done with the terraforming, I think. But now that we can only build a house 20 long, we decided, hey, let's go all out, deed all, or use the land that we've already deeded. So if you guys can see where I'm going here, basically the perimeter of our place is going all the way around. We're gonna have this entrance that leads into our big like port area with houses all around. It's hard to explain, but
I can sort of try to explain. It's like the
Sure.
land is going to wrap around an area of water. Boats will come into that area of water, and we are going to place. I mean, what you see is just like a skeletal. We're going to fill in a lot of the land and build buildings on it so that boats can pull up to those buildings. You're going to have entranceways from the side for small boats. The big boats can come in from the front, and it'll just be sort of like this small little port / water village area.
yeah. In the end, it's gonna look quite nice. I can't wait.
Tall walls around the outside of it, and
It looked like a big kingdom port area. The ones that you would see in like, I don't know, like Dungeons
Movies.
and Dragons or something.
yeah, sure.
So now that we got that out of the way, Rare, where are you? Because we don't actually have a blacksmithing area yet ourselves, and because the Hillside Horde Corp asked to make these blacksmithing tools, we decided, hey, we need to record it's perfect time to record a blacksmithing episode first off, because you have to imp these things anyway. I'm not the blacksmith. Adam's the blacksmith. We don't have a blacksmithing area up to Adam's standards. So we decided to do the next best thing, and Nightshade has agreed to allow us access to her blacksmithing area.
Actually, Nightshade's blacksmithing area is really nicely set up. I think I can learn a thing or two from this setup.
So as I walk into her area, let's just get off my horse here. There you are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So before we get into what I'm looking at, what everyone's looking at on the screen here, let's go back. You just turned this guy's pickaxe rare.
Mm-hmm.
What are the options now for, like, how much is a rare pickaxe worth on the market?
I mean, it's hard to say. Market fluctuates on these sorts of things, and it is mostly dependent on auctions, recent auctions. So you're looking at what people are willing to spend on it. But I mean, they could be anywhere from 7 to 10 silver even, or possibly even more depending on what kind of enchants you might find on it.
Wow.
That sort of thing.
So how much did these guys pay you to imp your pickaxe, their pickaxe?
Yeah, I mean, they're paying for an imp from 50 to 80.
And approximately, like, how much is that
I mean,
worth?
approximately each tool, they're probably giving me 50 copper.
So you just
Not
wasted
not even 50 copper, yeah.
So less than 50 copper. You just wasted your rare chance almost for like the day on somebody else's tool. It happens. But what do people do? Like, is it worth it more for you to just create another item, another pickaxe, imp that to 80, maybe put some enchants on it, and give him that?
I mean, it's a moral dilemma.
Even
I mean,
a
like,
90 WOA,
here's the issue. The one hand is that they have to be told. I mean, I can't just go swapping tools on them. We would have to come to some agreement where it is sort of fair. I mean, but I mean, I would be glad to give them a very nice tool in return for that. But I mean, truly, this pick is theirs.
But shouldn't there be? And I'm not in this game. I don't know how the economics works for this type of thing. But the fact that you have a chance to rarefy their pickaxe, shouldn't that be included in the price?
It's an interesting topic. I mean, like, you're right in the sense that usually when you have like a 50 quality tool and you get into like 70 or 80 or whatever, like, you're not paying very much for that because you already have that 50 quality. But you're right, there is that chance that it will become rare, and then what? I mean,
if the person instead bought an 80 quality pickaxe from you, then you could just, if you rared one, you would just create another one for him.
That's right. If it was just a straight up, I need an 80 quality pickaxe, then I would just make an 80 quality pickaxe. If it did turn rare, you're right. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't give him. You'd be like, oh well, I made one and it's a rare, but we didn't agree on a rare. But I'm still gonna give you this, like, and lose 8 silver or whatever amount of money it is.
Part of me is feeling like I don't like it. Doesn't seem worth it to me to accept imping
somebody else's.
Imping somebody else's. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I do understand why other people want their tools imped, and it's mostly because they have enchants on them. But at the same time, if I turn it rare, then what? Like, what's the protocol? Do I expect them to pay me for the rare of that, like the rarity? Some rares are less than others. I mean, like, if it was a file, let's say, it might only be 2 silver or 3 silver. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't even know.
We don't know. Why don't you guys tell us? Tell us in the comment section. What should we do? Should we give these guys their rare pickaxe back, knowing that they also might have stolen our vegetables? I don't know. But besides that, Should we, like, what would you guys do? Would you give back this pickaxe, be like, hey, turned it rare, 50 copper, please? Or would there be some kind of, like, agreement or tax that should have happened that said, like, well, we're going to put in some rare insurance thing. If I turn your thing rare, then you'll have the option of a new pickaxe or paying more money or something that's a fair price.
Well, it's funny. Like I like that idea of sort of like a rarity insurance. Like if I accept all of these orders
Yeah.
to imp people's stuff, and I would just say, okay, well, I am going to charge an extra 25 copper or something for rarity insurance. That
And
is,
if you don't take it, then I can take your item and give
that,
you
yeah,
the
that
item
is to
back.
say, if your item turns rare, then you get to keep it, and
that
all
price.
you've paid for me is 25 extra cents or copper or whatever. But yeah, if you don't take the insurance and it does turn rare, then the tool's mine, and I'll give you back pretty much an equivalent tool
Of what you ordered.
of what you ordered. Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Tell us what we should do in the comment section, and we'll tally up everyone says and tell you what we do next episode, next week. So you wasted your rare for the day. Let's move on.
It's not necessarily for the day, but yeah, it's not
Not a good chance that you're gonna get another one.
probably not going today.
Maybe you'll go out and get a rare dirt later today. I don't know. Let's look at the setup here. Already we look from previous episodes. We've talked a little bit about this, so I can recap on some of this stuff since you've already taught me in previous episodes. 2 forges.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you have 2 forges was that whole cooling trick that you did. People did mention in the comments, I can't remember who or how many people, that it's not just the forge that'll do this, but I think somebody said like any container. I don't think that's true. I think that it's just any kind of fire container, like campfire, oven, or forge. Can, if you put a container inside the forge, like a backpack or a cauldron or something like that, you can then put a item that's hot. In this case, you would be putting like a lump or something,
Or possibly like nails.
or a tool or something, in this backpack that's inside the forge, and it will cool that stuff down like really fast. Really fast. And we talked about that in the cooking episode, where you could do the same thing with like a meal or cooked meat or something like that. I mean, it works for everything. But what else? This is quite a nice setup. This is a very, very interesting setup. Stuff that you can't see very often here, or in this view, is the fact that there are 2, if not more here. There's lots of coffins. So why are there coffins? Like, does somebody die?
Well, coffins are a good just container in general. They're huge. You can put a ton of stuff in them to store.
They're like, actually, they carry a lot.
They carry a lot. Yeah, I mean,
more than a chest.
They're comparable to carrying what a forge can carry. More than a chest, quite a bit more. At least double.
That's nice.
Yeah, no, they're pretty good. They're pretty good in terms of their capacity. In addition, I've heard rumors, and it's hard to test these sorts of things, but they reduce decay. In the same way that like putting it
what do? You
underground.
put something in a coffin and you put something else in a large chest and see which one decays faster.
I suppose they would have to be comparable items. I have never done that test, so.
All right, so I see large anvil and a small barrel. Obviously, the large anvil would be like a smithing tool.
Yeah.
And the small barrel? Why a small barrel? Why not a large barrel?
We'll get to all that stuff. I mean, that stuff we can talk.
You're keeping it a secret from me, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go straight into blacksmithing.
Yeah.
Why would you blacksmith? You just started the game. Like, what are the reasons that you blacksmith in this game?
You know, it's a hard thing for me to look back as to where we were when we first started, and like imagine how would somebody who's new to the game approach blacksmithing. Or, I mean, it's obviously an extremely important thing. most all of the tools that you use and all the tools that you start with almost are blacksmithing tools, and you're going to soon need to replace them. So really, it's about making tools that are useful for you. It's about making those tools high quality so that you can get jobs done faster, that you can get better quality results. Yeah, I mean, like it's extremely useful, and also people, if you become a good blacksmith, people come to rely on you for making or imping their tools.
Yeah, if, like Adam becomes a good blacksmith, then I can rely on him to imp all of my tools.
And you have relied on me.
Yes, I have. So you have, like, let's go to like newbie tools. You get newbie tools right from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And they're great because they have the benefit of staying on my corpse.
Yep.
Or staying
Yep.
on my corpse, staying on my body when I die.
Well, yeah. It is your corpse. Yeah, yeah.
Why would I
mean,
replace those
that's great. I
to
mean, like
tools that don't stay on me?
those
when I
tools
die?
are awesome. I mean, some people just keep them forever because if you're ever going to travel away from your home and you have the chance of dying, I mean, it's good to have those tools on you. People say don't go anywhere without a pickaxe because if you fall into a mine, can't get out, at least you have a pickaxe.
What
But
does it-
yeah,
yeah.
if you die, you don't
They
want to
stay
bring
on.
your enchanted high quality pickaxe with you.
They would stay on that corpse.
They would stay on that corpse. Unless it was the newbie one. The newbie ones will respawn with you.
And so what's the downfall of the newbie ones? Why wouldn't I just keep those and imp those and, have the benefit of them staying on me?
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be awesome. Except for they programmed it into the game that they can't be imped.
Can they be damaged?
They can be
They can
damaged.
be damaged.
Hmm.
It's been like over a year since I had these tools.
Yeah. And they can lose quality. And they'll go right down to 1 quality, yeah.
And that's it.
That's it. And then, I mean,
So
you
they
can
could be
keep
used as
using them.
skiller tools.
Yeah, actually, I've seen some people use these as skiller tools. I mean,
Pop
it's a
some
great...
pop a COC on it, like a
Yep.
circle of cunning.
Yeah.
If you can you even put enchants on those tools?
I mean, I've seen tools being sold that had them on them, but I can't say for certain that that's still able to be
Yeah.
done.
Maybe not. Maybe somebody can tell us whether it is.
Yeah.
So obviously, you're saying that blacksmithing is one of the main professions. I would have to agree with that. It's a lot of tools that you need in the game come from blacksmithing. A lot of items. I guess a lot of bulk item. What kind of bulk items can you make?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another big thing. I mean, ribbons for
Iron ribbons.
iron ribbons are huge for a ton of carpentry items. Nails.
Nails, which is for everything. Like,
The house,
especially that
yeah.
I make with carpentry.
Pretty much everything, yeah. So you want to make a ton of nails. Rivets, those are specialty items for
They're for
studded leather.
creating Studded leather, I think NARS.
NARS, which is a specific kind of boat.
And fence bars I can think of.
Oh yeah, fence bars is a big one. Yeah, people
Okay.
need those in bulk.
So you're saying with tools, obviously the higher quality the tool is, the faster and less it decays, all that good stuff, like the better it'll work. Makes sense. So
Yeah, I mean, if you're going
how
into
do
a
I
mine, you
raise
wanna
it?
get. Yeah, well,
What's your success like story? You're a high you're a high level blacksmith. You've done it in the last year. You've figured out what works, what doesn't work. If I was to say I want to be where you are now, how did you get there? What would you recommend me do? The first thing, I'm brand new to this game. How
Brand new
would
to the
you
game,
get
okay.
started in blacksmithing? What would you do?
okay, yeah. So I didn't do this, but this is like in hindsight, this is what I probably would do again. The first thing I would do is work on my mining.
That's not blacksmithing.
Yeah, no, it's not. But your your blacksmithing is going to be highly dependent on the quality of ore that you can get. You cannot imp very much past the quality of ore that you have possession of.
So if I only had 20 quality ore,
Yeah.
And with mining, we should say, because we did cover this, you could watch our optimized steel gain episode, or
Or
possibly our iron
Search
quest
for
for
the
the Iron Vein
Quest for the Iron Vein, yeah.
episode. But what you mine can't go higher than your skill. So the quality of the ore that you mine can't be higher than your mining skill. So if your mining skill is at 20, you're only going to be able to get a max of 20 quality ore.
Yeah.
Now you're saying that you cannot imp a tool higher than the quality of ore, or you can, but not by much.
Not by much. Like you can, but not by much.
If I put this in an example, if I had a pickaxe and it was level 25,
yeah,
and it's telling me use an iron lump to improve this item, but my iron lump's only 20 quality, it won't work.
No, it won't work. The lump has to be higher than the quality of the tool that you're improving.
Which it does work the same way in like pretty much most professions. For carpentry, it definitely works the same way with wood. It seems like every single profession seems to work similar.
Yeah. The raw material that you're using to improve something.
There's always a raw material of some
Did we talk
kind.
about what improving is? Maybe in a previous episode, but I don't think we talked about it yet.
Let's get right to it. What is improving?
Improving is taking a tool or something that you're going to want to...
Any item in the game, it seems.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Any item in the game, you want to improve its quality or increase its quality.
Quality is a number between 1 and 100, kind of. 1 and 99, 100, 100. You can get 100 items. So anyway, 1 is obviously the lowest quality something could be. 100 is the highest quality something can be. Improving it is the act of going from low quality and bringing it up and up and up and up. Any item in the game can be any quality from 1 to 100.
Yeah. And
then like they've got 0.0000000. Like there's an infinite amount of like numbers below the decimal point. So you can imp something 0.000
yeah,
3.
It's quite a few decimal points there. So
every time you're successful. So how do we actually do this? I guess I'm gonna have to show you guys how this works.
Now I'm gonna give a couple more tips as Brian gets set up. Is number 1, get your mining up. That's what I was saying, and so that you can have a sort of good base. The idea is that you want it so that your skill is what's limiting you in improving an item. You don't want the lump to be what's limiting you. Okay, so you don't want to get to the point where the lump is like too low quality but you could still imp it up. You want to get to that point where you're imping or trying to get this quality up, but your skill is preventing you, but your lump is still good. Second thing that you want to do is get yourself a decent setup that should at least include a forge or 2 and a bulk storage bin, or 2 or 3. Some other containers are helpful. Yeah,
more than 2.
Yeah, get a. I mean, if you start with 1, and you'll find expand as you feel the need to, but you might need to do some sorting.
Before you move on, let's say bulk storage bins. The reason why you do that is because in bulk storage bins, when you dump, like let's give it the example of dumping your iron in a bulk storage bin, it's going to average out every single one of the lumps levels. So if you had a 50 and you can go back to our container episode and take a look at what this means. It averages out if you had a 50 quality lump and then you had a 20 quality lump, you put them in the same bulk storage bin. Now you don't have a 50 quality lump anymore. You now have 2 30-something quality lumps. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that just ruins your 50 quality lump. So that's why you put multiple bulk storage bins down. You could have a 50 quality bulk storage bin. You only put 50 quality stuff in there, and then you can have another bulk storage bin that just has all of your low quality stuff in there. Continue.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing that you want to do is get as high as possible the tools that you will need for blacksmithing.
Doesn't that completely contradict what we just told them to do in the Optimize Your Skill Gain episode with the skiller pick?
Yeah, it does completely go against that, and that's
improving doesn't work the same way as harvesting, does it?
That's right. That's right. So harvesting, yeah, you want to have a lower quality to get optimal skill gain, but it doesn't seem to work like that with improving. A higher tool doesn't seem to affect skill gain. What affects skill gain is what you're improving and the quality of the item that you're improving.
I see. So, do you want to get into that, or we get into that later?
We'll get into that later. But
okay.
Right now you want to get as high of quality of the items that you're getting, so that the tools that you're going to need, you'll need a hammer. You'll need a whetstone. Yep, a hammer. You got a hammer there?
Whetstone?
A whetstone, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do I have a hammer? So this is where I would recommend getting a better tool belt, because I like the fact that I can now list all of my tools right here and just have them all set up.
That's right. All set up there.
Let me see. You said hammer? I have a hammer. Let's put that there.
Yeah, you'll need a whetstone. You'll need a pelt.
Anybody see a whetstone in my greatly put together inventory?
You're so organized.
Look, I got a garlic there for no reason. Let's keep going.
Yeah, that's my inventory too.
So whetstone and hammer. That's what I've heard so far.
Yeah, whetstone and hammer, then a pelt.
Pelt. I do have a pelt from.
Yeah, you're a carpenter.
I don't know why I'm carrying this stuff either. I don't blacksmith.
Did you find a whetstone?
I did. I do have one. I think somebody gave me one at the Impalong, and I never put it down.
You just randomly.
Okay,
Thank you for this whetstone.
Thank you for this whetstone.
Don't ever use it.
Okay, keep going. Yeah.
Okay. You'll need some water.
I do have water because I drink it.
Yeah.
In this case, I will just put it here.
You can use the water that you drink and then use it.
And I know the raw material, right? So I need an iron of some kind.
And you need an iron, so 5 items in total.
That and I know, because I when we first started this game, I did a little bit of blacksmithing because we didn't know exactly what we like to do, and we didn't have preferred professions. We did it all.
And you're the type of person who just likes to dabble in everything a little bit.
We had to figure out what each of us should do. So I remember doing a bit of blacksmithing, not much. I don't think I got it around level 10. Like, it's still sitting around there. So one thing I didn't like, and the reason why I decided not to do blacksmithing, was because with carpentry, I just take a log and just imp it anywhere I'm standing. Mm-hmm. And I know with blacksmithing, not only are you confined to this like little forge area that you have to make, but then you have to heat it up and wait for the lumps to like get hot, and the lumps have to stay hot during imping, because if it cools down even one level, you're kind of screwed.
Stuck. Yeah, you gotta wait a little bit longer. Yeah, there are ways to help that process, though.
Ooh, you've learned some tips.
Well, you've helped me with this, actually, and that is improving your forge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if you have a really high-quality forge, which this one's not... So we helped out Nightshade a little bit to imp her forge a bit, but I think it needs a little bit more love.
So what does high-quality forge do?
It'll pretty much make it so that when you give it a full dosage of fuel, it will last a lot longer, and it will heat up items in it a lot faster.
Ooh. So that's why you always like make me slave over your forges that I make. Anyway, that's actually pretty nice. What is the other? Was there anything else?
Yeah, there was a couple other things I wanted to talk about in regards to the tools that you have there. If you're serious about starting out blacksmithing,
which I'm
then
not.
I recommend. Yeah,
anyway,
then I recommend
you might be.
Getting 2 hammers. Make yourself 2 hammers.
2 hammers?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, you want the highest quality tools as possible, and
Yeah.
you're going to be doing the blacksmithing, so you'll want to improve your hammer as high as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
problem is that in order to improve a hammer, you will need a hammer to do so. And you can't use the hammer on itself. You gotta actually have another hammer
It
to do
does
that.
kind of make sense. Like if you were trying to improve, make like a hammer better,
That's right.
wouldn't you need to pound it with something? Like what would you pound it with? Like your
Yeah,
fist?
that's right.
No,
You would
you,
pound it with another hammer.
yeah,
Exactly.
you would have to have another hammer
So I always
eventually.
have a secondary hammer that's imped up quite a bit. Like, you want to keep them sort of like the same level, so you'll pretty
Mm.
much be imping two hammers as you go.
Can't I just
Uh,
whip it with the pelt? uh, I guess not.
you will need to, yeah. But the other thing is get as high quality whetstones and pelts as you can get. I mean, as a newbie, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. For example, for a pelt to get, a 60 quality pelt or something like that. That
Yeah, they
should be no
seem to be
problem.
like freely available and they're quite cheap. Like even a 60
Yeah.
quality one. How about whetstone? How would you get a high quality whetstone as a new player?
Yeah, whetstones are a little bit more difficult. You probably, I mean, if you are lucky enough to find a rock shard that has a decent quality on it, like 40 quality, then you'll be able to take a chisel and just keep making whetstones until one pops out at a high quality. The other option is to ask somebody for one. People will probably gladly give away 60, 70 quality
Is that how
whetstones.
things work? You can just like I can
I
just keep
mean,
popping out hammers and then like, eventually it'll come out in high quality or something.
no, no, no,
So
no.
this is like a
Some items are
whetstone
not.
exclusive.
It's yeah, whetstones. I mean, pelts work the same way. Like you go around butchering items, and eventually one just pops out at a high quality, just randomly.
So there are
It's
certain items that do that.
yeah. These items are not impable. The whetstone and pelt will damage, but you can't imp it back up.
You can't even repair it.
You can't even repair it. No, so the damage just goes up, and then eventually you'll just replace it. There is one
That's why
option,
they
and
do
that is
that.
to get a priest to mend it. A mend spell will eliminate 20 damage,
Any
but
kind
it
of
will
priest or just one?
Vinoran priest. So I think it needs to be a
Okay.
Vinoran priest, and then it'll mend 20 damage. Just get rid of it all, and it'll reduce the quality of the item by 2. So not
That's a
too.
good trade-off.
It's a good trade-off. Chances are, if you have a 60 quality pelt, by the time it gets damaged enough, you'll probably find another, either equivalent pelt or better. So
All right. So where are we here? We're at how do I create an item in imp it? Let me
okay,
create an item.
yep,
So
sure.
what should I do?
Okay,
What's the easiest item to create?
there's a couple easy
A
ones.
saw. Let's do a saw.
Sure, saws are pretty easy. Other easy ones are shovels, pickaxes. Um,
So these are what you would recommend starting at?
yeah, I mean, all of them are
All of
actually
them are
not
good.
so bad.
Okay. But I want to do a saw because you don't need any wooden handles or anything like that in order to make
We should
or a
possibly
shaft.
show that happening. I have some shafts
Oh,
here.
fine. Okay. Let's do a shovel.
Okay. Now, a shovel, again, all the recipes are on the wiki. Most
The wiki?
blacksmithing, yeah, most
What's that?
blacksmithing items you're gonna need to make the metal part, so like the shovel blade, and then you'll have to take a shaft or a handle or something and attach them together.
Yeah, if
Uh,
you don't know the wiki or use it at all, we would recommend that you go there right now and familiarize yourself with the way that it works, where things are, because that is your lifesaver right there.
yeah, yeah, it will tell you pretty much everything. So yeah,
Okay, shovel.
make
What do I
the
do?
shovel blade. Yeah, so you'll
Make
oh
a
yeah,
shovel
so
blade. I'm going to look at the wiki right now.
we'd actually have to back up a little bit in the order of things because
Okay, let's back
let's
up.
suppose you are fresh to the game and you want to make yourself a shovel.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few things that needs to happen. Like first of all, you will have made a mallet, hopefully by now, and you will have the ability to make a campfire. You may not have. Let's say you finally get some ore, and you smelt that ore in the campfire. Now you have the raw ore, and you're like, okay, mallet, ore. Mallet and ore will give you a small anvil.
A
That's
mallet
pretty much
and an ore will give you a small anvil.
Yeah, that's
I did
pretty
not
much the
know that.
first blacksmithing thing that you have the ability to do, unless somebody happens to give you a small anvil. But a mallet on a glowing lump of ore will give you a small anvil. Then, once you have the small anvil, then you can take a glowing lump of ore, on the small anvil and make a bunch of tools. One of the tools that you should make is a large anvil. Large anvils take a lot of ore. I think it's 10 kilograms, and you
What?
fail a lot. And when you fail, and then when you imp them, they take an insane amount of ore.
Now, I know that's what this thing is here, large
Yeah.
anvil. So
You
it's
can only
gigantic
use a large
on the
anvil
ground.
when it's on the ground, so it has to be on the
Makes
ground.
sense.
Yeah. Whereas a small anvil you can use in your hand. Now that we have a large anvil, you can take a lump. So there's some. Did you grab some lump there?
I will grab this lump here. Put
You
it
might
in my
need
inventory.
a couple lumps.
I've got a big one.
Oh, you got a big one? Okay, good. And yeah, so take a
this
bunch,
one-
and them together.
I'll show you. If you lumps are only one weight, right? But if you take like a bunch that are glowing, and they have to be glowing, you can combine them into one gigantic lump.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
How much? I'm going to take 5 of them, and
Sure.
if I activate any one other than the first one here, and then right-click the group of 5, I can combine them all, just like that. One giant lump. Okay, so I got one giant lump. It's still glowing from the heat. What am I doing with it?
Okay. So you're going to activate it and right-click the large anvil.
Activate. Right-click the large anvil. So we already have a large anvil.
Yeah, you go to
Creating.
create. There is no keybinds for this, by the way. You have to actually go through the menus.
When creating
Another-
an item.
Yeah, you go down to miscellaneous, and this is where most of the items are. The other ones, you can look through them.
What did I say I'm making again?
Shovel. So
Shovel
the
blade.
shovel blade is at the top of the menu. Actually,
53%.
the menus actually change. It's kind of annoying. They're not always the same, in the same order. So shovel
So that you
blade.
can't macro.
So
you
you can't
know.
Yeah. Don't macro.
Don't macro.
Don't
The
macro.
evil macro.
Okay, shovel
Don't
blade
follow.
will.
Oh, I got it on first try.
Okay, good. 53%. That's pretty good. Okay, so now do you have a shaft, or do you need me to grab
I
you
do
one?
not have a shaft
Okay. Of course, you
in
should
the game.
already know.
Anyway, keep going.
You should already know how to make a shaft. It's a log with a carving knife.
Carving knife. Yep. All right. Doesn't matter which one I activate.
No, it's one or the other, and right-click the other.
Oh,
and it should have a
43%. How about if I do it
Okay.
the other way? Still 43%. What? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the
it
same
used to be the
chaos.
fact that a lot of people don't like this, but they used to make it so that failures were a lot more harsh than they are now. It used to be that if you failed, it pretty much went poof, and you had to start from the beginning again. It was
Yeah.
quite-
That would be a
I-
lot harder.
like the balance that they struck between difficulty, and they also got rid of the unfinished. So
I made a shovel and it came out at 2.29 quality.
nice. Now,
Alright,
if
so
skilling
now
up
what
your
do I do?
blacksmithing, low quality is good.
So
Because it
skilling
means-
up blacksmith, let's just remind everyone.
Yeah.
Can I skill up just by creating like shovels? We just pop out like 100 shovels.
Yeah, you could. It would be painful. Creation is never the best way to go when you're skilling up anything.
No.
No, you always want to imp something. Now, there's some skills in the game where creation is the only option. Those skills suck.
Lock making.
Yeah. But if you can imp stuff, that will always increase the rate at which you gain your skill. That's big
Okay.
time.
So I've got a shovel here. What do I do with it in order to imp it?
Yep. Okay, so is it glowing?
No, it's actually lost all of it.
Yeah, that's one thing I found in this game. I'm not sure why it does that, but whenever you combine two items, it loses a lot of the heat. So you got to put it back in the forge.
Putting it back in the forge
And
with
we gotta
5
wait.
other shovels. Man, your shovels, they look... It's like you see the double digits. 70s.
Yeah, well, these guys
Mine's
are for
2.
the Hillside Horde
Looks like you were in the middle of imping them. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, while we wait for that to heat up, that might take a little while. We could talk about how we can optimize your skill gain.
Okay. So I will get ready as you say this. What should I do?
Okay, so you've lined up your tool belt. You have set up... you should set up...
Actually, I need a lump for that, don't I?
Yeah, you should set up a keybind. I don't think it's defaulted. I think 1, 2, and 3 might be defaulted.
I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5.
Possibly 5. Okay.
But the other ones, like on, they're not keybind automatically.
Yeah, you need to go and figure out how to keybind 6, 7, 8, 9.
Which you can go to the wiki and look up key bindings, and that will bring you to a page with every single keybind you can make in the game. Yeah, I believe it's called activate_tool 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's, so
now, while you're at the keybinding website, there should also be a few others that you would be interested in for this. One is called improve.
Yes.
Now, if you're watching this and you never knew that improve could be keybound, your world is about to change.
What kind of change? Like a or like
it's like a because up until this point you've probably been right-clicking, scrolling down to improve every single time. Whereas now you can just hover over the item and press your keybind and it will improve the item, like start the action. This makes things go like this. Of course, the action bar still, you gotta wait for the action bar, but in terms of what you're pressing on the keyboard, it goes really quickly. Now, if you take a look at... there's one other keybind that you need is repair. Put repair on there as well.
I know you do this differently than I do this.
A little differently. I've tried to adopt your method, but why don't you explain how you do it?
My method. My method would be to put the improve keybind on my spacebar and put the repair keybind on R for repair.
Okay, so R for repair, okay.
And so that I could remember. And then, obviously, I have my tool belt 1 through whatever I have, 9 at this point. And this is how I usually do my setup for carpentry. I'll do 2 to 6. And I'll use those as my, like, all the different tools that I need for carpentry. In this case, I'm using it for blacksmithing. And so I'll have 2 to 6. I'll have my fingers on the tool belt as well as R, and use my thumb for improve. I'm kind of not explaining it properly, but
no, I think you're right. Like you're explaining it fine.
Let me look. I have my lump. I took it out of the forge. I would recommend, from my small experience with doing lumps, I would have more than one lump. Because this lump is eventually going to not be hot, and if you have another lump still in the forge, then you can just replace.
That's right.
So I'm going to
put this. Speaking of which, I'm going to refuel the fire. Just make sure it doesn't go out on this.
All right. So the first thing always when you make an item, and it doesn't matter which profession you use, it always requires more raw material right off the bat.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you need to create the item. It takes like a big chunk, but then once you're improving, in fact, there's a formula.
There's a formula.
Whatever the weight of the item is. Okay, so you look at the weight of the item that you're improving. When you go to improve it with a lump, it will only eat up 5% of the weight of the item.
5%?
So
wow.
Yeah, it's 5%. So if you're imping something that weighs 2, then the imping action will only take 0.1.
That's not that much.
It's not that much.
All right, well, let's do this. I've got
time, but
this is how I usually do it. I don't know if you can say any different. Let's say I activate the lump. You guys can't see what I'm doing here on my keyboard. I'll hit improve, my spacebar. first you
Yes,
have to
please.
mouse over the item that you're improving. Improve. And then it starts improving. Then I'll actually do, if I'm only improving one item, then I'll hit repair and then improve again. Just in
Why
case.
do you do that?
Just in case it fails, it'll automatically repair that item and then start improving again.
Oh, but it looked like it succeeded.
And now it's improving again. So, and then I can do that again.
Yeah, I like
Repair,
that.
improve.
I like that. And that goes into the queuing up actions that we were talking about in optimizing skill gain. Queuing up actions is still more beneficial
Improve.
when imping because of that. If you decided to wait, okay, so you finish the action bar and then you wait for that stamina to increase up to the top and then you start your next action, that wait period is a waste of time.
It's true.
The only time that you would do it in that way is if you want to improve something quickly and you're not doing it for skill gain. But if you're doing it for skill gain, longer actions are better. So and queued up actions are better. So yeah, if you before the action's done, you repair and start improving again, it'll immediately start doing that right away.
So is this the best way for me to improve blacksmithing? I'm improving my shovel. I mean, it's already at 9 quality. Is this the best way?
Unfortunately not. Like you're getting really close to getting it to the point where you're not going to be able to improve it anymore, and then you're pretty much done.
Yeah, because I've got around 10 blacksmithing. So
And another thing is that it's hard to keep
how
up
can I
with queuing.
optimize my blacksmithing skill gain? And this almost goes for any kind of imping process for professions.
I would recommend lining up a bunch of tools that you're going to improve. So they could be 4 of the same or 5 of the same or
see, we don't
even
have that
10
many
of
tools. We've got 4 small anvils here. They're level 30 or something. You're saying I should imp all of them. Now the
right.
reason why I would do this is because then you could tell. See this little icon right here. I don't know. I'm sure if you play the game, you notice that there's icons next to every single item. That's telling you what you need to improve that specific item. So this way, you know ahead of time. All these 4, I know exactly what I need to improve, and I can just queue them up. I can just go pelt, improve, and whetstone, improve, hammer, improve, and hammer, improve. And now it's just going to do it.
And you could have even done a 5th one.
Yeah, but this is even better. Like these are 30, like level 30 quality.
That's right. These are level 30 quality compared
But
to your
my
skill.
skill is like 10. So
Yeah.
what do you think? Do I still get skill gain? How does it work?
I don't know. Why don't you look at your skills window?
Why don't I look at my skills window? Indeed.
But from what I understand, and
Getting
this is a
body.
recent change.
Ooh, blacksmithing. I did get a blacksmithing increase.
This is a recent change that you are still able to gain skill while improving items well above your level. In fact, apparently, it's an increased skill gain.
So I wonder because I heard about that. I heard about that you get an increased skill gain, but I didn't know how many professions it was attached to. I know that they first attached it to weaponsmithing, or that's what they announced it as. They announced it now with weaponsmithing. You can, if you improve an item above your skill level, then you will gain a certain amount more experience bonus, an experience bonus of some kind. I didn't know they did it for every profession, and I wonder if they did. Maybe you guys out there can tell us whether they did do this for every profession. I do know that I was imping another profession recently. I was trying to grind, and I was doing that. I was using higher quality items than my skill, and I seem to be getting quite a bit of experience. So, but
good.
I don't have anything to compare it to, right? I don't. I've never increased that skill before, so who knows?
Yeah.
So other than that, you're saying, if we recap just a little bit, 1, you would queue up you would make more than one item and improve them all at the same time, queue them up one after the other, because it's easier to do that with more than one item. If you do it with one item, it's like more than likely by the time you get notified what you need to improve that one item, your stamina bar is going to go back up.
That's right.
And you won't be able to queue it up. And two, you're saying that, and we don't know for sure if this is for every profession, but imping items higher level than your level, will give you a bonus or an increase in experience gain. That's what we're thinking.
That's what I'm feeling, yeah. I haven't yet experienced that, but yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
But hey, if you're still getting experience, which I was, and it's still like, even if it was equal, instead of making 50 items and just getting them to like my level 10 or whatever, just keep improving 4, and if I just keep getting experience, I just keep getting experience.
Yeah.
Like how great is that? You don't need to make a bazillion items anymore.
The only downside I can see to that is the repair time.
What about the repair time? Just
like there's an extra action there. Like you're almost guaranteed to damage the item when you're imping. Like just watch your actions, right?
That's
like
true.
Every single time
because it's above your skill level.
That's right.
You're more than likely going to fail.
I don't think the repair is that much of a deal. Like that's not gonna. I don't know. It's hard to say. I haven't gone through. I mean, it's a relatively recent addition, and I haven't gone through the process for us, like seriously, for a skill. Mm-hmm. So yeah, don't know.
All right. Well, that's pretty good tips. Like I don't know if I would have thought of that. I remember when I was thinking about that, and you at first told me that that's what you were doing, which is like, I'm making 5 items of this exact 5 shovels or something. Like, why are you doing that? Like, we don't need 5.
Yeah.
And it's because like it really does improve your skill gain by queuing up these things, making sure that your stamina, that you keep queuing up until your stamina just reaches that breaking point that goes away. That's and right. Then stop. Let it fill back up.
Don't just imp 3 items and then let it fill up. Like imp those 3 items and then go back to the first one and imp them as they're changing until your stamina bar's all the way down.
And then stop. Let it fill back up. Do it again.
Yeah. It's good.
Once I learned that, I was like able to finally level my skills.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what else? Now we know how to start. We know, or let's say we know why we're doing blacksmith. We know how to start with blacksmithing. Your whole explanation about mallet and iron and small anvil and large anvil and like all this stuff. We know if we want a tool, just look at the wiki. That's straightforward. If you haven't gone to the wiki, go to the wiki. So we know how to create. Now, let's just go back. I don't have a forge. Let's say I'm a new player, so can't I just do this in a campfire? If I'm a new player?
You could. There's quite a bit of there's I mean,
what's the
you
downfall?
could, but there's problems with a campfire.
Okay.
The main one being that it damages your ore when it smelts it.
What do you mean? It damages it?
Yeah, and this is something I only recently learned while doing these videos, actually. In one of the videos, we were just simulating our newbie-ish stuff, and I put the high-quality ore in the campfire, and it just took off like 10 or 15 quality from it, I think. The other thing about campfires is that they need refueling a lot, and they don't heat up things very fast. So, as soon as possible, switch to a forge, I'd say.
Because it won't damage. You want that ore to be as high quality as you possibly can. Get that forge made, even if it's low quality. I think it's worth it. But one thing that we talked about in the optimized skill gain episode is that yeah, once you're ready, you have your forge on and you're ready to go with all these items and you're gonna queue up all these actions, turn on that sleep bonus. Wow, that is like a big deal. Big deal.
Double your
yeah,
experience gain.
Double your experience gain, and in this game, experience is everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're really serious about blacksmithing, you want to be a blacksmith or a weaponsmith or any kind of smith, get that forge on, get your items ready to an appropriate level, and then pop your sleep bonus. And that's another, I think we're at the point where we're doing tips and tricks. So the first tip and trick that I can bring to this table with this whole profession thing is, once you get high to a decent level, let's say level 40, level 50 maybe, don't use up your sleep bonus. Don't make like 4 items that are level 10. Turn on your sleep bonus and then start imping them, because those low level items aren't going to give you that much experience until that item is like, I would recommend a minimum of 20 below your skill, and maybe even up to 10 these days. If that item is like all those items can be imped to about 10 below your skill. So if you're level 40, imp those items to 30 first, then pop your sleep bonus and imp those up. You optimize your skill gain completely.
That's right.
Don't
That's
waste
a good
your sleep
point.
bonus.
That's a good point, because when an item is way too easy for you to improve, like a low quality item compared to your skill, it doesn't give you many skill ticks. I think that the magic number is 70% of your skill, in and around there. So yeah, if you're 40, 30 sounds about right in that area. Yeah.
As you get higher, you can make it a bit
You have
lower.
a wider window.
But even now that items you can, if you have the raw materials necessary, then your imping above your level is still good. You still get optimum skill gain.
That's right. Yeah. So start at 30. If your skill is 40 and you have 30 quality tools, get those things up to 50 or as close to 50 as you can, and just keep going on them. Like, don't stop. Like, use your sleep bonus and just get them up there.
All right. Do you have a tip and trick that you can?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have boatloads of them.
All right. Let's start.
Let's start with a straightforward one.
Sure.
You'll hear a lot of people talk about the best tool to imp, and just like, just make 100 needles and imp them all up to 90. Okay, well, sure, you could do that, but I find this game a lot more enjoyable and a lot more natural to just imp what you need. Think of all the tools that you'll be using. So, like, common ones are pickaxes, hatchets, chisels to make those bricks. If you want to get into carpentry, get yourself a file. Get a nice tool set going and imp those all up to as high as you possibly can. Use those to skill up. Then find a friend and say, hey, I'm skilling up my blacksmithing. You want me to imp your stuff? And you just imp them up as much as you can. If you're in a village, then you just offer to improve people's stuff. The best way to skill up is just have a purpose for those tools that you're improving, and it really makes it go a lot better.
That's true. And in this case, the friend he's talking about is me. So next one. Do you have another one? Because I don't really have that many.
Yeah. Put COC on all your tools. I don't think we said it, but yeah, that's a big
enchants. We haven't talked a lot about enchants. Just a little bit. COC stands for Circle of Cunning. That enchant. I think you've mentioned it before, but it's like a percentage more. It gives you more experience per action or
that's right,
or tick.
So the tools that you want to put COC on is your hammer, of course, and your whetstone and pelt. The other two are debatable. I mean, okay, first of all, water. There is no point in putting COC on water when you're blacksmithing.
You can put COC on water?
You could put it on water. It's just not going to do anything for blacksmithing. And it's a weird thing. I'm not sure why this is the case, but water, for some odd reason, uses the enchants that are on the tool that you're imping. So I'm imping a hammer. The hammer, so for some reason, has COC on it. I'm imping the hammer. I have to take my water to make the action on the hammer. Well, that water is now going to adopt the COC that's on the hammer for that action and give me.
This only works for hammer? Or
It
not for
only
hammer,
works
for water?
for water, and it only works when you're doing water on smithing. So it could be armor smithing or blacksmithing.
You can do if you could put COC on what? Can't you put COC on like your lumps or something?
Yeah, you could put COC on your lumps, and actually a lot of people do. That's an optional one. I would say that you could go ahead and do that.
That's hard. You dump that lump back into a bulk storage bin to keep its damage, like to not decay. It loses the enchant. It's just gone.
It takes a little bit of management. Like you have to, if it gets a skill decay tick, then you have to combine it with something else, and you'll lose a little bit of quality. It's also hard to get that quality up. So let's say you get a 70 quality lump, you put COC on it, then you'll only be able to imp using that COC lump up to 70. But once your skill gets higher, you're going to have to get that lump higher. I mean, like, I'm in that scenario where my skill is so high that it's just not worth it to put COC on a high quality lump. I feel like it's a waste. I don't want that lump to get a damage, and it's just one of those things. My personal preference is not, but a lot of people do.
Okay, so you mentioned it earlier in the episode. You like small barrels the best.
Yeah.
More than large barrels, right? Why?
Well, large barrels you can't pick up in your inventory. They're too big. Small barrels, I can carry a full small barrel and just walk around like normal now. Like, it gets to that point where you
can't do that when you start out.
Yeah, your body strength is high enough. Yeah, if you're starting out, use a bucket or use that small barrel, but you're kind of going to have to be sort of stuck in that one spot. So that small barrel is part of your smithing station.
So you just keep one next to your smithing station?
Keep one right. Yeah, fill it up.
I would recommend, in order to fill it up, at this point, I would hope that you either have a cart. At first, you have a cart, put that small barrel in your cart, and just drag that small barrel, or drag that cart down to like a well or a fountain or the water. Fill up the small barrel that's in your cart. You might have to pick it up, fill it up, put it back into your cart, and go back. Do that same, and then you have a small barrel that has like 40 whatever weight in water.
That's right. It's 45 weight.
You can't pick up your large barrel.
Yeah. Now the good thing about the small barrel is that it won't run out very soon. It'll last you a good smithing session. Whereas if you had a barrel, sorry, not a barrel, a small bucket, you'll run out before you're ready to like turn your sleep bonus off. I mean, if you want to go in for the long haul, you'll line up a couple barrels full, turn that sleep bonus on, and just like, if you're going to waste that full 5 hours, you're probably going to use a whole barrel, if not more. So
any other tips that you can think of?
Okay, yeah, so we said COC on everything. The other thing is some people like putting WOA on their tools. On
the tools, like smithing tools.
Yeah, this actually doesn't really decrease the skill gain overall, because you'll get shorter timers, but which will mean smaller amount of skill per action. But of course, the shorter timers means you'll get more actions in, and apparently it balances itself out. So by all means, WOA, and that'll increase your productivity. One came to mind.
That's if you have the ability to get Wind of
Ages.
Yeah,
or the money, or you can get those WA COC. Oh yeah, you want, as I mentioned before, get your tools as high as possible, because the skill gain will literally be reduced if you have low quality tools. The reason is because low quality tools can only imp to so high. Like if you have a 50 quality hammer and you're trying to imp something to 70, well, that 50 quality hammer will be extremely useless, and you'll fail a lot on that action. The failures, while you still can get skill gain on the failures, I think reduce. Actually, you know what? I could be wrong. But
You
in any
could be.
case, you're not going to increase your skill gain, and you're not going to get that tool. You're not going to get that imping action up very much. So
But yeah, using a higher quality tool than where you're imping to, man, that helps so much. You
it
fail
does help.
so many times. If I'm using a 50 quality carving knife or something, I'm trying to imp something to 80.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, don't. It's tough. It's a lot tougher. And it doesn't even imp the item as much as it would.
no,
Like,
the imp is so low. Like if it succeeds, it's like 0.01.
yeah. So yeah, keep all your tools higher than what you're, or at max quality to what you're imping to.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, especially your hammer.
So what else could we talk about?
Yeah. One thing is a setup thing. It's about your setup. You can actually see it.
Where?
It's right on the bottom of the forge.
Right on the bottom of the forge. I'm looking.
You
at
see
the
how
bottom.
like there's this little archway at the bottom, like it's like a little opening.
Yes, this is a little opening here.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
so, and then you can see that wooden panel there in the back.
Oh yeah, there's no wooden panel on this side.
Yeah, the wooden
Oh my
panel
god, what is that?
is
That's
actually a bulk storage bin.
Ooh.
That little opening there is like the perfect spot to place a
You can
bulk storage
hide
bin.
your bulk storage bin here.
Yeah,
You know what
it's
else? This
makes
looks
things
like
look
one
nice.
giant coffin, but it's really two coffins.
Two coffins. Yeah, two coffins. Slide them right in there. Make everything look nice and neat. What I do with when
That's
I do
pretty
this.
awesome.
Yeah, when I put the one underneath, I put all my high quality stuff in there. Like that's the stuff I need a lot when I'm standing
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Some neat tricks.
Yeah.
How? And maybe, I know these are all design tricks. Maybe if you guys have some cool design tricks, I'd love to hear them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is quite a neat one.
For sure.
Because it fits right perfectly almost. Wow.
Yeah. In addition, your setup should include like a bunch of BSBs, and I think we talked about that. Separate your ore. Yeah.
Definitely have more than one.
Oh, here's a really good one. Actually, people might not know this. There are some special tools in this game that allow you to sort of take a shortcut.
What?
Yeah,
A shortcut.
a shortcut. Like
We don't know that word in Wurm.
Yeah, I know. It's like I can't believe that this happens. It seems like it's part of the game. It happens with at least one tool from blacksmithing that I know of, and it happens with one tool from carpentry that I know of, and it also happens with one tool in weaponsmithing that I know of.
Are we going to? But we're not going to tell you which items. No, we're gonna. You're gonna tell.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you at least the blacksmithing one. It's the file.
The file. What about
now,
the file?
This really works well if you have a decent level in blacksmithing. It also would require you to have a decent weapons head smithing, I think.
Is it a weapons head or is it just a handle, like a?
No, it's like the file blade is
Oh, the
actually
file
like
blade,
the actual
huh?
creation of the file blade is a weaponsmithing.
We can look that up right now.
It's weaponsmithing
File
or
blade
weapons
is bladesmithing.
bladesmith. There it is, bladesmithing. Okay. So you need to have a good bladesmithing skill. It doesn't have to be great. It just needs to be like decent.
And I
what
assume
you
good
do-
mining, because
You need good mining. Okay, so this is for like the advanced people.
An
Like, let's say you have
advanced tip and
70.
trick.
Let's use 70 as a number. Okay, so you have 70 blacksmithing, you have 70 mining,
Uh-huh.
and you have 20 bladesmithing. I don't know. 20
Okay.
seems to be enough.
20.
You take a 70 quality lump on a nice high quality anvil, small anvil, and you just start making file blades. File blades.
Tons of file blades. Huh?
Wait for a one that comes out at a high quality, possibly the same quality as the lump that you're making.
So if you have a 70 quality lump, you could potentially make a 70 quality file blade.
It could come out as 70 quality. Okay, now once you do get that 70 quality, it might take a few tries unless your bladesmithing is high. But you get that 70 quality file blade, and you go get yourself a really nice high quality handle. You might need to get a carpenter
Get a
friend to help you.
get a high quality woodcutter and a high quality carpenter.
Yeah, I know this shortcut doesn't sound too short anymore. But yeah, if you have the resources, okay, then it's a shortcut. Okay, so get a nice high quality and handle. It could be 70 quality as well. Okay, 70 quality file blade, 70 quality handle. You combine them, you have a chance at making a 70 quality file. No,
So you can just pop it out at 70 quality.
pop it out. Yeah, there you go.
Even if you don't have that skill level.
Yeah.
You don't have 70. Like, and I know
Oh,
you
yeah,
tried
that's
this
right.
with...
Right. You don't even need 70.
You tried this with the weaponsmithing item that you
That's
know
right.
of, which
That's right.
is
A carving knife.
a carving knife.
Yeah.
A carving knife.
My weaponsmithing is actually really low. I had a real hard time.
And with
just
high quality components,
myself to do
you've
it.
put them together and made
I made it like a 60 quality.
a 60
Carving
quality carving knife with
It
like
was-
20 something weaponsmithing.
It still required me to have high quality ore, and it still required me to take that ore and just like make a whole ton of them until one came out at a decent quality, and then
Alright,
I
so-
got you to make me a nice handle and just went pop, and it came out at 60
And
quality.
there's one more that I know of personally. For carpentry, there is one tool that does that.
Mhm. And it is.
It is. Should we tell them? Yes, we should.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll tell you guys. It
Yeah.
is the mallet.
Yeah.
I can pop together a mallet at high quality.
The great thing about the mallet is that you just need wood cutting. Right? You don't need
You
the ore.
just need the high quality components. That's it.
The other two, you need both wood cutting
Yeah, you
and
only need the wood cutting and carpentry,
Yeah.
whatever. But you just need that high quality log.
yeah, you get like a 95 quality log. I don't know actually if that would even work, but
I probably could.
imagine? do you imagine some get a 95 quality log?
Just go out, get your wood cutting to 95. It's nothing.
yeah,
Um,
it's a shortcut. It's a shortcut.
We're calling it a shortcut. So
It's definitely
Anyway.
a benefit for those people who have the resources for that.
yeah, and just a disclaimer, because I didn't say this today, do not put any wood items in a forge. Do
Yes.
not put any cloth items into the forge. It
That's
will it will catch on fire and just poof. So yeah, don't do that, please.
But that actually goes into something else that just popped into my mind, and that is something called fountain containers.
Aren't all fountains containers?
Yeah, well,
guess
fountain
not really all
containers
of
is
them,
not. Yeah, no. Well, fountain containers is like a relic of how things were before.
So you can't do this anymore?
Can't do this anymore
Why are we talking about this?
because they still exist in the game, which
Huh.
means that you could get your hands on one of these. They're pretty expensive, from what I've seen. It used to be that if you complete an item or you make an item, it could come out quote unquote unfinished. They recently removed that. But with fountains, and this was actually, they changed the fountain thing even before that, but you make an unfinished fountain, and unfinished items, for some odd reason, were programmed to be able to fit into other containers,
Any
even if
container.
it didn't make sense. Like, for example, you could take a unfinished fountain, which looked like a full fountain, and put it into a frying pan,
Backpack or
a
frying pan
backpack,
or something.
or a saucepan, or something like that, and it would be like just to store it there.
Mhm.
But they allowed you to start completing it while it was in the container, and so you would start adding bricks to the fountain, or what else goes into a fountain? A mortar.
Yeah. Oh no, you just chip at it.
You just chip at it until
That's
it
right.
finishes. Okay, so it's kind of like blacksmithing. So you chip, poof, the fountain is complete, and it is now inside of the saucepan or the frying pan or whatever it is that you're in. Now,
Okay.
you could also do this in a satchel, but here's the problem: is that if you have a satchel fountain container and you put it into a forge, the satchel goes away and the fountain is now a fountain. So it actually changes the value of some of these things. Like the people who decided to do this way back in the day, who put them into frying pans. Frying pan seems to be the best because you can put those in a forge, and you can put them into small magic chests. Now, small magic chests are trader bought items. They're 25 silver, so they're pretty pricey. But whatever you put in them does not decay. Period.
For 25 silver?
25 silver.
For a small chest?
It is pricey. It's small. It doesn't contain very many. It doesn't have that much space. But what people have thought of is combining the frying pan fountain container with the small magic chest. And all of a sudden you have this tiny little chest that doesn't really take that much stuff. But inside of it is a fountain that you can put a whole bunch of stuff in. And for some odd reason, like the physics of Wurm allows you to like dump a ton of stuff into the fountain, and the small magic chest is just sitting there like, I can take it all.
It actually does become magical.
Yeah, it does become magical. Now, to compound all of this, the problem is that currently small magic chests are wooden, so you cannot put them into forges.
Yeah, don't put it in a forge.
Yeah. No,
what a waste of 25 silver.
Yeah, that would burn up really quickly. But there was a brief period of time where they made small magic chests steel.
So, let me recap this. You're saying that your tip is that there are items. There's a fountain that could go into a frying pan that you can't make anymore. You take that, then you take a small magic chest that's steel that you can't buy anymore.
Yeah.
You combine them together.
Yeah, you put the frying pan inside the steel. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just crashed. I'll be back in a second, but we continue. So we take those two.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You place them together.
Yeah.
Put them in a forge.
And you have yourself a way to increase the volume of your forge.
Let's go do it.
Now,
why not, you know?
I saw one of these on the auction. Somebody has one of them, and this is awesome. Like that they actually, I mean, the steel magic chests were only in the game for a very brief time. Like, I feel like it was matters of weeks.
This is more like a trivia thing.
A couple months, yeah.
This is what we used to do.
They're extremely rare. You would have had to buy the magic chest when they were available, and then somehow come across a frying pan fountain container. Because the backpack fountain containers don't fit into small magic chests. Yeah, and then you put it into a forge and it won't burn up because it's steel. And yeah, like, awesome.
That's true. Well, I think that's all I can think of. What about you? For tips and tricks, any last ones before we move on to the last section of the episode?
I don't think I have any more tricks.
Well,
tips.
The ones you had were already pretty good, so let's move on. If you guys have any tips and tricks that we did not think of, which there probably are.
I probably have some. I just can't
send them in the comments section. The best place to do that would be at our website at serversaredown.com. You could also do it on the forums, the official Wurm forums, our Twitter at Factional Fight, our Facebook, which is just serversaredown.com. You can find us there, and what am I missing? YouTube. I'm missing YouTube at our YouTube channel, Saturday Night Factional Fight.
Is it, or is it just Factional Fight?
You can look it up, Factional Fight. If you look up Saturday Night Factional Fight on YouTube, then you'll find us.
Sure.
Or Factional Fight. But let's move on to our last section, which is question and answer. You can send in all your questions to the exact same things I just said. So maybe I should have said that first. This is a segment that Adam really enjoys.
Yeah.
He goes to all of our places and he tries to wrap all the questions that we get during the week. If we didn't get to your question, this week. Wait till next week. We probably will. If not, send
And
us the
post it
question
again.
again on our website at serversaredown.com. We will not miss it there. Guaranteed.
Post it again.
I mean, or
one
Twitter.
thing that I'm a little bit, I mean, I know that we've been doing this every week for the past while now, and I mean, the questions have been great, but they're sort of waning in the sense that it's either maybe people are running out of questions to ask, or they're not getting to the point where, I don't know. So my point is if you like this segment, like I like this segment, bring on the questions so that we can answer them in the segment. So, yeah, this week I think is a little bit. We haven't gotten as many questions as in the past.
But we will go through them anyway.
But we'll
Let's
go through
do
them
it.
anyway. Yeah.
The Antonio444 on our cooking episode. He says, "Hey guys, you're totally awesome." Thank you, and the Antonio444. I had totally given up on Wurm Online because I had somehow lost all of my starting equipment.
That's horrible.
Don't drop it then.
Go read Survivor Man's blog. That's exactly what that guy did. He just took all of his newbie stuff and threw it away and said, I am going to start off in Wurm. And he did it.
Yeah.
It's not impossible.
It is not impossible. They actually give you a way to do that. Let's see. But then I watched your videos and got inspired and got back into the game. That is actually great to hear. Then I met a really nice guy who lent me some tools, and now I bought Premium and I'm having lots of fun with the game. But
Awesome.
my question is, are you guys ever going to live stream? Are your shows live streamed? Are they? It would be really cool if you guys started live streaming. Oh, that's 3 sentences with the words live stream in it. We have to do it now.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The question, are we live streaming? The answer is no. We are recording onto a local computer and then we post it later. Are we ever going to live stream? Well,
We've thought about it.
we thought about, actually we had our original concept of the show was a live stream show, but
It was.
I mean, we had an idea for a live stream show. We looked at many options for live streaming.
Due to just our daily lives and stuff, we can't guarantee that we're going to be live streaming at this particular time every single week. It kind of jumps around, and if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see it, it's not going to be during the day. Can't do it during the day. It's going to mostly be during our nights.
Random nights.
Could be random nights. We
days.
might try it in the future. Who knows? We'll
Might
see.
try it in the future. The one
If you do,
thing
you'll
that
hear it from us.
I mean, when we're doing it like this, we have the ability to cut. So if
We do. So
If
live streaming would be
lights-
more of like a more behind the scenes thing. What's happening before and after we start.
yeah, I mean, we haven't really cut that much actually. We haven't really edited very much. It would only be if like one of us severely crashes or
Yeah,
loses
like
connection. or
all this
something.
lag spikes and I disconnected and then Adam his
Yeah.
voice cutting in and out sometimes. We just leave
right.
that in there because it's a lot easier for us to not have to edit it.
That's right. But big things we usually edit. I mean, I would hate to be in the middle of a live stream and then like our internet connection goes out, for example.
Which
That's
happens.
that's my only concern.
All right.
But yeah.
Next episode, which is also from the cooking episode, at the the name Yomatsu Shimano. Yomatsu Shimano.
That name just okay. Mhm.
He asks, at the risk of sounding racist, or what does he say?
Whatever.
Whatever people will end up calling me, I am merely curious what race you guys are. Now, I thought this was, pretty clear, but guess we can go over it.
Yeah, can't you tell?
Yeah. Anyway, my race is a dwarf, and Adam's race is obviously an elf.
Obviously.
Anyway, next question. Van Hex from the farming episode. He says, I hope I'm asking before you made this next episode. Yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, it didn't happen. You
Unfortunately.
posted like
I think
hours after we finished recording it. So yeah, we're glad we can get to it at least.
Yeah, so this week, can you farm in caves? No. You cannot. You also can't farm inside houses or in any kind of house enclosure. Anything, even if it doesn't have a roof.
Yeah.
But you can farm anywhere else, I guess, on dirt and whatever we talked about in the episode. Has to be on specific slopes and that sort of thing.
It has to be on.
So why
dirt.
did he ask
That's
that?
Yeah.
Or can you only farm on the surface? Yeah. Is there an alchemy skill?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
There is
an alchemy skill. Do you use things you can grow for it? Yes.
Not quite sure what you're getting at here.
I think, can you farm alchemy skill materials? So can you farm stuff that you can then use towards alchemy to skill it up? Yes, you can.
Yeah, I mean...
we will cover that in an episode we talk about dye making, I believe.
Yeah.
And healing covers.
I understand the question, but it seems like there's something missing. Like you want something for some reason out of this question, and I'm not sure if
we're not
can
sure
answer the
what
question right, because
is it that just that you want to level alchemy, or
yeah, maybe it's because you want to level alchemy. The thing is that alchemy doesn't really do anything.
It's actually inside of alchemy, the natural substance.
That's
skill.
Right, and the natural substance skill. So yes,
two things that can raise the natural substance skill that you can farm are.
We'll tell you when we get to that episode, I think.
All right, fine. One of them's
why give away? Why give away one of our big?
One of them's corn. Okay. Next question. Eldrick79, also on our farming episode, says that he's going to give Wurm a try. Sweet. And that he's curious as to what our monthly upkeep cost is for our ginormous plot. And this goes back to our our Deal or No Deal episode, where we won or lost.
You have to go watch it.
We have to go watch it. Some money that may or may not have gone towards
the creation and
the upkeep of this ginormous place, and along with that, with the donation of a substantial sum from a nice, great guy named Tron, who lives on the indie server.
And his brother ACG.
And everyone else that we met there.
Yeah.
It's been a little while, but we're still thinking about the Impalong.
Yep.
So what happened? Our upkeep rose to a lot of money.
Yeah, that initial expansion was a big...
We basically used every chunk of money on that expansion that we got through donations and everything. It was a lot. Our deed is giant.
Yeah, it's 83 tiles by 43 tiles. So I'll leave it up to you to go to a deed calculator to figure out how much that ends up being, but yeah, it's quite a bit.
And that's how much we pay a month. So I believe that's all the questions for this week. Is that right?
Yep, that's pretty much it.
All right, so with all your new tips and tricks for leveling not only blacksmithing, but a lot of these tips and tricks from this episode and previous ones, like the optimized skill gain, can be used towards a lot of these professions as well. So good luck on your Wurm adventures and grinding your skill out, and we'll see you guys on the next Saturday Night Factional Fight Plays Wurm Online. Take care, guys.